Hello friends, welcome to Srivali's kitchen. Now I am going to show how to prepare Chakara Pongali. It's an Andhra sweet we prepare for the Navratri season and also during the Sankranthi. It's a little time taking recipe but the taste is totally worth it. For that we need 1 cup rice, 3/4 of a cup of moong dal or pesarapappu, 1 or 1.5 cup of milk. Rest we are going to add water. And jaggery water, what I've done is I've grated around 3/4 to 1 cup of jaggery and diluted it in water. And we need ghee, a good amount of ghee, so we need around 1/8 of a cup to 1/4 of a cup of ghee. Then here we need dried coconut, thinly sliced, cashews, raisins, cardamom seeds, and edible camphor or pachakarpuram. This one, tiny piece of it. First, what we are going to do is we are going to dry roast the moong dal, and then we are going to wash the moong dal along with the rice, and then cook it. We are dry roasting this so that it will hold its shape when we are cooking it, so that it doesn't get mashed up, and also because it will give us a slightly different taste. Roasted dal always has a very nice taste to it compared to the raw one. So we're just going to roast it, not much. We don't want it to change color or anything. We just want it to release a slight fragrance. And then we're going to turn off the heat, add this dal to the rice and wash it. Add it back to the pan. Pour in milk and water. Milk and water will be in equal quantities. We need somewhere around 3.5 to 4 cups of water. So for that I'm going to use 1.5 cup water and the rest 1.5 cup of milk, and the rest will be water. If you want, you can cook it completely in water by adding say just half a cup of milk also. That's fine. But try not to cook completely with milk because it will alter the taste. We need to find a balance. Meanwhile, what I will do is I will roast my cashews and raisins and these dried coconut. I'm also going to put this on the stove later on, not now. I'm just going to put it on the stove, heat it, and then add it to this mix. Like I said, it's a little time taking process but totally worth it. We prepare this during the Dussera Navratri season. Okay, you can see that it is starting to mildly change color. So now we are going to turn off the heat, take it off the stove and wash it. Meanwhile, I have added water and milk to the same pan. We washed the rice also. Now we are adding the rice and the dal mix into this. I'm just going to mix it up once. And we are going to cover it with the lid and let it cook. If you're making in slightly larger quantities, what you can do is put this in the small cooker or a pressure pan for up to 3 whistles. Right. Just going to keep the heat on medium so that it cooks a little faster. And that is because I'm using a non-stick pan. I know it's not going to either stick at the bottom or burn. I'm just going to cover this with the lid. I'm going to keep the heat in medium. Now I'm going to start roasting the nuts. I'm going to add some ghee. Let it melt, and then now I'm going to add the cashews. Chakara Pongali usually takes a good amount of ghee, which we are going to add a little bit in stage wise. A little now, a little later. Alright, while the cashews are roasting, I'm going to take this here. I'm going to crush the cardamom seeds. I don't like to get the cardamom, skin, the dried part in my mouth when I eat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw that in later on. But now I'm just going to crush this along with the edible camphor, Chakarpur. Remember to use very little quantity of it because this has a very strong taste, and too much is going to alter the taste and you just cannot eat it if you add too much. Alright, here you can see the cashews are starting to change color. Now we are going to add the dried coconut flakes. And once these also start to change in color, I'm going to add the raisins. That's because I have washed the raisins, and if I'm going to add raisins now, they'll start to splatter. Here, you can see that this is starting to boil. Now I'm just going to throw in the cardamom skin. Right. This will cook, roast. Yeah, you can see this color. It's getting a nice color to it. Now it's time to throw in the raisins. Since I've washed those, they'll start to splatter like this. So what I'm going to do is once they start to swell up, I'm going to turn off the heat. Yeah, they are starting to swell, which means I'm going to turn off the heat. So the existing heat will roast these completely and not burn any of these. The last thing we want is burnt nuts or raisins. That's going to spoil the entire dish. We just want this nicely roasted. If you want, you can roast them to a lighter color, but I just love this color. We have a very nice crunch even after adding and cooking it in the Chakara Pongali or Payasam, whatever we make. When we get this color, the crunch stays for a long time. Here what I've done is, now I've put the jaggery water on the stove. I just want this to boil. Meanwhile, you can see here, this is cooking. See, since we have added dal, we are going to get some froth. So it's important that we keep an eye on this. You can see that the grains are starting to swell up, which means they're going to be ready in another 5, maybe 10 minutes. Okay, it's going to take 10 minutes, not 5. Here, I'm just going to keep mixing this in between. Don't worry about the color of the jaggery water. That depends entirely on the jaggery. But if you get some color like this, a real dark color, and if you're afraid that the Chakara Pongali will change into a darker color, you can add some sugar to balance the flavor. Add say 3/4 of jaggery and 1/4 of sugar if your jaggery is dark in color. If it's pale, then no issues. You won't have any problem with it. So I'm going to let this boil. I'm going to let the nuts cool down. And I'm just going to crush the cardamom seeds in the meantime. Okay, now you can see that it's all cooked. It took us about 15 minutes to completely cook the rice. The water and the milk has also almost evaporated. I've turned the heat to simmer. Now what I've done here is I've just boiled the jaggery water. So I'm going to pour this jaggery water slowly into this rice while stirring it continuously so that the milk does not split. So I'm going to pour it very little slowly. I'm going to stir it completely slowly. Once we are done, I'm going to cook this till this water also evaporates, and that is why I said it's going to take some time. You need to cook this in stages. At this stage, once it starts to boil, you can just see if you need to add any more jaggery or sugar. You can just add some sugar. Try not to add jaggery because jaggery has some dirt in it, so it's better that we filter it out. Okay, now I'm going to what I've done here is I've crushed the cardamom along with the edible camphor and a few grains of sugar so that it gets easier. I'm just going to add this powder in. If you're not used to edible camphor, you can just omit using it. That's all right. It won't alter the taste much. Right. So we're just going to let this cook. Okay, let this cook and simmer initially so that it doesn't split the milk, and then we can put the heat to medium, and we have to keep stirring it continuously also. So I'm going to show it to you again once it starts to boil. Okay, you can see that it's bubbling, boiling. It's also starting to thicken up. So now is the time to add ghee again. Like I said, this recipe needs a good load of ghee. If you want, you can add more, but I'm going to stop here. A little on that kind of side. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, say, around 50% to 70% of the roasted nuts right now. And then I'm going to keep a few for garnishing. I'm going to keep a few for the last as well. I'm going to keep a few for garnishing. I'm just going to add a few now, not much. Just a little, a sprinkle of nuts. Okay, this will take about another 5 minutes and then we'll be done. Right. About 5 to 7 minutes later, you can see that the mix is nicely thickened up, and this is the stage where I'm going to turn off the heat, and that is because I'm using a non-stick pan, and once it starts to cool down, it's going to get much thicker. If you're using a normal pan, you can let it sit for another 2 minutes, but since this is a non-stick pan, I'm going to turn off the heat now, let it cool down so that it will thicken up. We want the Chakara Pongali to be thick but not hard. So this is done here. You can see the bits of cashews and roasted coconut, raisins and all. This is the perfect color for Chakara Pongali. So I'm going to show you the final product once this cools down. It's going to thicken up, then you will notice the difference also. Okay, so let's wait for this to cool. You can see now that this has thickened up nicely, and it's also a little cool. So I'm going to take this into the serving bowl and serve it. You can either serve this hot or you can serve it cold. You can just chill it in the refrigerator and serve it cold as well. I'm going to top it with some roasted nuts and coconut. So, Chakara Pongali ready to serve. Thank you for watching. If you like my videos, subscribe to Srivalli's Kitchen. Have a nice day.